All right, what's up, you guys? This is Janos with Trading Spies. Here we go, Friday. We managed to today. I had to say scrape together a green day. It was very difficult for me. Traded 5 times today. 4 of them was a winner. 1 of them was the loser. But unfortunately, that one loser took most of my gains, right? And actually, I was up very nicely. My fourth trade was a loser. Basically, it erased all my winners. I went into negative, and my last trade basically bring me up to the green. So we went green to red and red to green. And last trade, basically, it's overall, I give back about 50% from the overall high, right? So it's okay. Is one of these days. Unfortunately, it will happen, and more. It's in my mind, um, and somewhat waiting for the red day to happen, right? Because right now we're running a month, exactly a month, 21 days without a losing day. So basically, we closed out a month in a trading world, right? So as more and more it's in my mind, the more and more I thinking about it, it feels it's somewhere in the back of your head. But either way, we manage a green day today, we manage a green day yesterday. Yesterday was difficult also, very choppy little movement with a burst of momentum, and then once we get to the next level, again we started to chop around, and in the afternoon after 2 we open up nicely. And today we build on that momentum, but we got rejected. And as we were watching the level 2 and the time of sales, is everything was just stacked to the downside. Is anything one something tried to make an upswing very hard, very heavily, it was stacked up and it was pushed lower, which is understandable. We reached a major level, 450 level, a major pivot level from back last year, April. And anyway, the market need a little breather. So it is what it is. We finish green today. We finish green for the week. We finish the 4th week, basically green without a losing day. So let's get in. Let me show you guys the trades what I took today. And as always, if you guys like this video, please hit the like and subscribe button and turn your notification on. All right, so let's start our recap here. And today was a very difficult day, and yesterday wasn't that easy either, right? And basically today we build it on the momentum yesterday, right? So the white line is the yesterday high of day, and basically all the rest of the lines what you guys see is coming from back last year April. And as we can see, all the lines, right, is respected very well, even if it's coming almost a year and a half, a quarter, a year and a quarter, is still respected. So let's just get into the trades. So my first trade I entered basically at 50 after we had a little pullback. Let's just zoom in a little. After we had a little pullback, first candle make a new high, I entered. But because of the choppiness, even we broke higher. Usually as we break the high of day, that is my profit taking level. But in this case it was so close. Tell you the truth, I shouldn't enter even here because the target, it was so close. And as we can see, the choppiness chart looks good. Pullback, reaching a level, pullback, first candle make a new high. We did that. And basically this moment, it didn't work out perfectly. And then what's happened over here on the 10 o'clock candle, again, I just don't want to say it, but again, market manipulation, as we know. And the way it happened, let me bring this one up again. And this is our volume. We see it's the volume is decreasing, right? The volume is decreasing. And this is why it's so important, the real time watching the market. Because what I'm gonna explain right now, this, if you're looking at on the chart, right, the completed chart, you won't see it. And it wouldn't really make sense to you, oh, why you enter when the market is dropping and it's a big drop like this, right? Let me explain. As this candle was unfolding, 10 o'clock hit, right? We have a decreasing candle. But what it happened is, as it opened, it flushed down, but the volume for this particular candle, when it was a full-blown red candle, the volume of this particular candle didn't even reach half of the previous candle. So in the split second in my mind, because it's no volume to it, is no selling pressure. Yes, the candle is a huge red candle, but basically there's no volume to it. The reason why this candle got so big and so heavy volume, because of the buyback of the drop. And this is again the market manipulation, how you can drop 1 point, one exact point, way less than half of the average of the previous candles. And you drop about this 193, about 10 points, a tenth of a point, let's say 13 cents, and this candle is dropping exactly a point. Again, I'm not gonna be saying anything. You gotta deal with it as it comes, right? And this is the best way. I dealt with it. I saw it is no volume. It dropped, and right away we move higher. So what happened over here? Even I entered in this candle. I added to my position. So basically I added to my position there. I added to my position, actually 2 times I added to my position as we went higher. So that bring my average very nicely, even less than half of my original entry, way less than half. So as we moved higher, we started to chop around a little bit around VWAP, but then eventually we started to go. So my exits basically started on 10-14, and as we went higher, 14-15, numerous exit on 15-16 was my last exit. So let's see which candles are those. 14, 15, 16, and that's usually exactly the candles where I'm exiting as we're breaking the high, right? 14, 15, 16. So these 3 candles, as we moved higher, I exited all my position. So end of the day, it's became a very nice trade. Let's say almost 50% trade, closer to 45. So it's became very nice trade. Original entry, as we moved higher, added 2 times. As we moved back higher, waited the choppiness out, and as we broke the initial high of day towards our next level target, exited all my position in these 3 candles. And let's do our next trade. Next trade 43 again to the long side, and this is where I had the bias to the long side, which I shouldn't have, right? We under VWAP, we are trending down. So the major thing to be still biased, because we still within the uptick range. So basically is, yeah, we're pulling back, but overall we still on a higher time frame, we still on an uptrend, right? So that's also we have to keep in mind. Second entry, now let me remove this, 43. Basically I thought we found the bottom, right? Little bit higher low. I thought the initial move is gonna start to take us higher. It didn't. We flashed down. This trend line at that very moment is not there, because this is gives us the lower low, actually the higher low. Sorry, to later on as we move higher to put our trend line. So this trend line, I'm not gonna remove it, but just keep in mind this trend line is not there, right? So this was my first exit entry, I'm sorry, and 47 I added again as we wick down. So this candle was still red when I added to it, and exactly we find our bottom. We started to move higher, and my exits all the way as we moved higher, 53, 54, 55, 53, 54, 55. So as we came higher, right, we averaged to the middle. As we came higher, we exited, and also I left runners and exited at 11:05, which is this candle. So overall, this also became a very, very nice trade. It's about same 20%, something like that. The best exit was 84, average exit 69, 10, 15. Yeah, so it's about 15-20%. Another nice trade. And third trade, this was a quick one. Entered 11.13 as we pulled back. We went higher, 13, added to the trade at 17 as we started to go higher, because we have to keep this in mind, the yesterday high of day, right? So that's why we have a little consolidation under, and exactly what happened, what I thought it will happen, we're gonna push higher and basically exited on these candles right away as we went higher. 18, oh, that's 17, I'm sorry, let's delete this one. 18 as we keep the higher, 20 and 22, I think, yep, and 22. So everything exceeded on the top because we was getting close to VWAP and we didn't have any indication at that moment as we were watching the level 2. It was just stacked. It didn't seem it's gonna break, and basically exactly that's what happened. But let's see, we got one more trade over here, which is very, very nice. As we wick down, right, as we wick down, if we look at the 5-minute, this candle, exactly what I'm talking about on my episodes. One, we have an uptick, right? When we started to move higher, we have a green 5-minute candles. We wick below it on a low volume, and then we start to move higher. Basically, I entered as soon as it became a green candle and exited 31, numerous exit on 31, and also numerous exit on 34. So 31 as we broke VWAP, right? 31 and 34 as we came higher. These entries average 77, exit around the dollar. Some in 102, some on 97, 99. Yeah, so around the dollar average we can say. So this basically give a 30% trade, 30% very quick trade. And the last trade, what I had, this was a frustrating one, because after exactly later on the day, it happened exactly what I thought it's gonna happen. It didn't work out at the moment, but I had to take my losses because it was just way under where I supposed to be, right? But after that, it turned back around, and if this one I hold it a little longer, my losing trade basically is never registered a losing trade, and it would be a nice profit adding to the previous one. So it is what it is. Let's break that one down. So for that, my initial entry was 1203. And the reason for that entry, because we are still within our range, right? 1, 2, and basically my entry is what is right now green candle, but initially was green when I entered. So basically the reason why is, and this is the time when we can pull this trend line over here. We moved higher, basically we rejected VWAV, we came back, we held our 450 level, right? Very nicely we held our level, and then we started to move higher. We broke yesterday high, VWAP got rejected, but as we moved lower, right away we got bought back exactly the same way, right, as we did over here. So my idea was exactly the same. As we start to move higher, enter into the trade. In this case, I wanted to wait for confirmation for the next candle, started to move higher, I entered, and the moment, the split second I entered, it was flushing down. And then basically I didn't exit this trade, so as we moved lower, I was averaging down, adding to my trade. So I added to this trade as we moved lower. This was 3. I added to my trade at 5 as we reached our trend line, because over here we already have this trend line up, and I entered as the support for the trend line and going back higher. Also, I was holding it, adding to this trade 15. Again, support, previous support, even yesterday, this was a very distinguished level, right? We came up to it, rejected, came up to it, rejected it, went above it, then we had our support, and then rejected, and then it was a rejection. But nevertheless, it was a great level to watch. So we were above it exactly. Next candle make a new high after support, entered, and one more, I added one more time, 20th, again as we came down, and in this case as we just reached the level, I entered. So basically I average down, but in a way on every level as it makes sense, not just we go down and we just starting to buy, right? As I explained, original entry after rejection, first candle make a new high, right? Same theory as our previous trade before. We already had our trend line, entered trend line support. Next, previous support level, first candle make a new high, entered. The next entry as we wick below, entered, and then basically I exited. Well, actually no, one more time, I added one more time. I was waiting all this to turn out, and I added one more time 1240, which was, we moved back higher. We were very close to break even. At that point, I added one more time for this level to break. It didn't happen, and we just had a crazy flush, and I exited basically on the next candle as it wicked down. So this was a big loser for me. Not necessarily by number, by contract number. We went down. Original entry was 85, added 77, 61, 55, 59. So as we can see exactly right here, we're very close to break even. And then basically as it flashed down, at once exited everything over here. No scaling out, none of that. We reached the level. I'm just out of here. And then from here we had one more trade, 102. Let's see, what was it? And in this case already we have our trend line up, right? Because higher, let's just get from here, right? Lower high, lower high, lower high, right? So, and again we have our next set of support levels as we move lower. So my original entry was 102 as we reached the level, right? Red candle touched the line. I entered for a rejection. Next entry I added to this. Same thing, one more time, came down to the level, added one more time, and basically I added again on one more time because we can see these is trying to hold. We have a distinguished level where we exit again, right? Over here we broke our level, I exited, and from down here we have no more support for a long way down. So this was the ultimate exit. We congested this level, entered 1, 2. I entered at 107 as the first candle make higher. We wick back down, and I entered at 11, which is actually the candle what is popped higher. So from there we reach our trend line one more time. I didn't exit it here. I was waiting to come back to the level for exit. I was waiting to come back to our original breakout level for exit. It didn't happen, never came that far down. And as we moved higher, my first exit was at 35. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Actually, I had 8 set of exits on the candle. 35. I exited. I hold it a little longer. I exited also 2 sets at 42. 2 sets, 42. Usually the exits between 2 to 3 contracts. And then also I exited 209, 8, 209, and the last set of exit is 213. This over here, it was very painful because it didn't move. You guys can see is every candle same, weeks up, weeks down, basically a lot of candle closing as dojis. So this was an indication already, and again level 2 stacked up, and then basically exactly that's what happened, and eventually we give in and we just break down. But that was my last trade, and as we can see, this was a very, very nice trade. So basically at this trade over here, on this trade, basically I erased all my gains for the previous beautiful day. But this one nice trade, hold it through, exited almost on the very, very top. It's gave back basically 50% of my original winners. So end of the day, we ended up very, very nice. Well, let's say we didn't reach our daily goal, but the very, very nice I mean is we finished green, we saved our green streak, and we can go relaxed for the weekend. And then basically after that, it's just a downhill from there. These levels, as we can see it again one more time, held, go higher, and it's a very, very ugly rejection. All right, so next thing going forward, we have to be careful a little bit. Right now the market is so extended. I think a breather's gonna come, so we're gonna have either a consolidation or a little pullback. I don't think we're gonna run from this point higher as fast as we did to came up to this level. Again, we are very, very extended now, so now it's coming. Just be careful trading, right? Set your stop losses, your exits, your entries gotta make sense. And again, spend time on the real market, because what just happened over here, you're not gonna gain it. You're not gonna gain it without watching the market, and so many things happening what you cannot relate back to the already formed chart. And exactly that's how your indicator works, how your indicator is repainting as it moves. So you have to spend time on the real market. Even if you participate just with one contract, just with one share, by psychology, it's completely different than sitting in the simulator and just add to your trades, no regards to anything, right? So again, if you guys like these videos, please hit the like and subscribe button, turn your notification on, and see you guys next week with a new episode.